Every day, people lie. Sometimes the lies are so small that we barely notice them. A friend asks, "How are you?" And we answer, "I'm fine," even when we're not. Someone asks if we enjoyed a meal, and we say yes, even though we secretly hated it. These lies may seem harmless, almost automatic. But then there are bigger lies. Lies that destroy relationships, end careers, break families, and sometimes change the course of history. So why do human beings lie? Why do we sometimes choose to hide the truth, even when honesty seems like the easier path? The answer is far more complicated than simply saying that some people are good and others are bad. Lying is deeply connected to fear, desire, survival, social relationships, and even the way the human mind protects itself. To understand why people lie, we first have to understand that lying is not something humans invented in modern society. Deception can be found throughout the animal kingdom. Animals hide from predators, pretend to be injured, or use deceptive behaviors to gain access to food and resources. In the natural world, deception can mean survival. Humans inherited many of these ancient instincts, but our intelligence gave deception a new dimension. We learned how to use language, imagination, and memory to create entire stories that may have nothing to do with reality. In other words, humans didn't just learn to hide the truth. We learned how to build alternative versions of it. One of the most powerful reasons people lie is fear. Fear of punishment, fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of losing someone we love. Imagine a child who breaks a valuable object at home. When a parent asks, "Did you do this?" the child immediately faces a decision: tell the truth and accept the consequences, or lie and hope to escape them. In that moment, the brain may not be thinking about morality. It may simply be trying to avoid danger. As people grow older, the consequences become more complicated, but the basic mechanism often remains the same. We lie because, in that moment, the truth feels more dangerous than the lie. But fear is only one side of the story. People also lie because they want something. They may want money, attention, status, love, power, or approval. A person might exaggerate their achievements to impress others. Someone might pretend to be more confident, successful, or experienced than they really are. On social media, this behavior becomes even easier. People can carefully select what others see, creating an ideal version of themselves, while hiding everything that doesn't fit the image. The result is a strange paradox. The more connected society becomes, the easier it can be to hide behind a carefully constructed identity. Sometimes, however, people lie not to gain something, but to protect themselves from the truth. This is where lying becomes psychologically complex. Humans have an extraordinary ability to create stories that make uncomfortable realities easier to accept. A person who fails may tell themselves that the circumstances were unfair. Someone who loses a relationship may convince themselves that they never really cared. These stories may not be deliberate lies told to another person. They can be lies we tell ourselves. And perhaps the most convincing lies are the ones we eventually begin to believe. There is also another reason people lie: kindness. Not every lie is designed to hurt or manipulate. Sometimes people lie because they believe the truth would cause unnecessary pain. A friend asks, "Do I look terrible in this outfit?" And the answer might be a gentle, "You look great," even if that isn't completely true. Parents sometimes hide difficult information from children because they believe the child is not ready to understand it. Doctors, friends, and family members may choose their words carefully when someone is emotionally vulnerable. These lies are often called white lies, and they raise an important question. Is honesty always the most moral choice? Or can a small lie sometimes be an act of compassion? The answer depends heavily on intention and consequences. A lie told to protect someone's feelings is very different from a lie told to control them. Two people can say the exact same false statement, yet the meaning behind it can be completely different. This is why lying cannot always be divided into simple categories of good and bad. Human behavior exists in shades of gray. The same person who lies to protect a friend may also lie to avoid responsibility. The same person who demands honesty from others may hide their own mistakes. We are all capable of contradiction. Another fascinating reason people lie is that lying can become a habit. The first lie may feel uncomfortable. The heart beats faster. The mind becomes more alert. But if the lie succeeds, something changes. The person discovers that deception can work. Over time, repeated lying may become easier. The emotional barrier begins to disappear, and what once felt wrong starts to feel normal. This doesn't necessarily mean the person becomes completely without conscience. Instead, the brain may gradually adapt to the behavior, especially when there are rewards and few consequences. This is one reason why small lies can sometimes lead to bigger ones. A person lies about where they were. Then they need another lie to explain why they were there. Soon, the first lie requires a second. The second requires a third. And eventually the person finds themselves trapped inside a story they created. The strange thing about lying is that it often promises freedom in the beginning, but creates a prison later. The truth may be painful for a moment, but a lie can demand constant maintenance. Technology has also transformed the way humans lie. In the past, deception often required face-to-face interaction, making it easier to notice hesitation, tone, or emotional reactions. Today, a lie can be sent through a message in seconds. Fake identities can be created. Images can be edited. Information can be manipulated. Artificial intelligence can generate realistic voices, faces, and videos. As technology becomes more powerful, the line between reality and deception becomes increasingly difficult to see. The question is no longer simply, can we tell when someone is lying? It is becoming, can we still trust what we see and hear? Yet perhaps the most important question is not why people lie, but why people believe lies. The human brain does not always search for objective truth. Sometimes we prefer information that confirms what we already believe. We may accept a comforting lie because it feels better than an uncomfortable truth. We may ignore evidence because admitting that we were wrong would threaten our identity. In this sense, deception is not always something done to us. Sometimes it is something we unconsciously participate in. So, why do people lie? They lie because they are afraid, because they want to be loved, because they want to be admired, because they want to avoid pain, because they want to protect someone, because they want power, because they are ashamed, and sometimes simply because telling the truth feels too difficult. The human relationship with lying is complicated because the human relationship with truth is complicated. We often say that honesty is the foundation of trust, and it is. But honesty requires courage. It requires us to accept consequences, face uncomfortable emotions, and sometimes admit that we were wrong. Perhaps that is why lying has survived throughout human history. It offers something the truth cannot always provide: immediate comfort. But comfort has a price. Every lie creates a distance between reality and the story we tell about it. Sometimes that distance is small and disappears quickly. Other times it grows until it becomes impossible to cross. And maybe that is the greatest danger of lying. Not that we can fool other people, but that after telling the same story for long enough, we may eventually fool ourselves. Because the most dangerous lie is not always the one that hides the truth from others. Sometimes it is the one that hides the truth from us.